Hey, did you know that Two Girls Shooting the Shit is on Instagram and Facebook? We'd love to hear your feedback, episode suggestions, or just chat with you about life. So follow, comment, and share.
Yeah, and your
Change
body
trajectory
changes,
or
yeah.
Your view. Yes, girl.
Your hormones and everything, and you get some senses that you didn't even have. So, like,
Girl, who you telling?
yeah, I'm just talking.
I say, who you telling?
I'm like, are y'all magical now? Like,
Hey, Em.
Hey, Mo, how are you today?
I'm good.
What are you doing? What's up?
I'm doing nothing. I just woke up for this podcast, so
Oh.
I'm talking to you. That's what I'm doing.
I woke up hungry.
Hungry. What you have?
I just killed a bagel.
I need a bagel. I got some vegan lox.
Ooh, how did they do that?
Honestly, I think it's just tomatoes cut up, and they made it look. Yeah, because that's what it tastes like.
Like a tomato,
like a
vegan
beef,
cream
like a
cheese?
big beef tomato, and they took it and like sliced it
Beefsteak
up.
tomato?
Yeah, I was like, y'all played me like this. Thought it was
You're like,
made
this
in a
doesn't
lab or
taste like
something.
lox.
It doesn't at all, but it's cute. And then they have a little cream cheese and stuff. But I forgot the bagels, so I have to do.
Do they
that.
make vegan bagels? I'm sure they do.
Oh yeah, flour, water, salt, and yeah.
I love bagels. I love bread. I love bread. I love bread.
Get it, girl.
Oprah. I mean, I bake bread. And you
Mhm.
can just, I bake bread. Put my bread baking. Yeah, it doesn't take much. This
Yeah,
is
I
like
know.
completely, do people care? I like to bake. I bake a lot. So,
Ooh,
I bake a lot. Look, I'm just passionate. This isn't me angry. But yeah, no, I bake a lot. That's what I
Hey.
do.
Yes, I started making bread in the pandemic, and I was like, nah, not
Really?
really. I think I make it one of those bread maker things, but I don't.
Mm.
I'm still like I still go back and forth with bread. I'm just gonna have to accept that relationship.
Back and forth. with
Lettuce
bread.
wraps ain't hitting it.
No, you need to have bread.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
I've
bread
done
of
that keto business. I can't.
Yeah, it definitely
It
works,
works.
but you
Oh,
don't
for
want
sure.
that. Then I'm eating the whole
But
batch
it's
of
not
bread.
sustainable. But it's not
for me.
sustainable.
I don't
I've
have
lost
that
so much
discipline.
weight on keto. I don't like meat that much to be eating all just
Mhm.
meat and cheese and bacon and all that. This is part of the embracing the body. Like, you know what? I like cookies. You know, a girl needs a brownie sometimes. Yeah, or like bread, or there's other food groups. I want to eat as much of the vegetables as I want. Like, I shouldn't be limited to X amount of leafy greens. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about, but a girl needs to eat. Okay.
Right? But I love like what people are doing now, and like going vegan really helped because like as long as my labs are right, then that's all I care about. Like
Yeah.
if I can have bread, like but what I was thinking about was a lot of people, like I saw on Shark Tank, one lady, she does like chickpea cookies. And so like and you would taste it, and I bet, like, I want to try it because I bet, like, having gone to these vegan bakeries and stuff, I bet you wouldn't be able to tell it's chickpea.
Yeah, your birthday cake was banging.
I don't even know what was in it.
And then we had a cupcake at dinner once, and it was delicious. I'm sure there's a lot of banana, a lot of stuff. It was very moist, like delicious.
Yeah, but see, the banana and the coconut I have a problem with because I'm not a fan of those. Like, I eat them, but not all the time. And so, like, if I can taste coconut in something that's not supposed to be coconut.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that either. I have coconut oil that's extra coconutty, whereas the one I had before didn't have any coconut flavor. And so I'm like, why does my, when I was doing keto, like, this isn't supposed to have a coconut flavor.
Yeah.
But maybe we're talking about diet. What are we
I love it, girl. We just
every episode, I'm like, what are we talking about? This isn't what we're supposed to talk about. I'm such a rules person. My husband calls me Two Shoes.
What's that?
Goody Two Shoes. Goody Two Shoes. I always follow the rules. I always stay in line. So
that's right, girl.
My nickname, Two Shoes. I know.
Yeah, girl. You know why. Color in them, breathe the color in the line. Take flight.
What is that?
It's Queen Sugar. It's a show. It's a show on, I think, OWN or one of those networks. It's a Black drama about a family and their plantation in Louisiana.
I feel like I have no cultural growth once
I
having
do too.
children. Like, I didn't know who Cardi B was until maybe 2 years after she had come out with
Same.
anything.
Same.
I didn't know because I'm listening to The Wheels on the Bus Go Round in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what new TV shows are on because I got PJ Masks and like Doc McStuffins on the TV. And in the little time that I do have after they go to sleep or whatever, like, I just turn on Netflix because I don't want to think. Like, or you tell me about a show or whatever, and I'll binge watch a show. I feel like I have no cultural, like, I don't know what popular music is now. I'm still listening to music from before I had kids.
And I don't even have
sucked
kids.
the life out of me. Dang.
For me, it's just like, there's just so much.
What's going on?
There's just so much. It's like, how do I pick? Like, I go to Netflix and I just freeze up. I'm like, I don't know. Like,
too many choices.
Right? Or I start watching something like in like 5 minutes. I'm like, I can't take it. This is worst. I can't go through each one. So I'm like, can you get better indexing? Can some librarians get in there and like figure out how
get that Dewey Decimal?
Right. Get something where we can like find the content, because the search function.
Librarians.
The search function is not doing it. It's like, I need content, but I don't know how to find it. And I can't be going through like, and then I ended up just on like, I'll go on Instagram. No, or just go on Instagram and I'm like scrolling or looking at stuff. And that's how I found out about music. Like, I don't know who half of these people are. Someone was twerking the other day and I was like, wow, this is great.
Twerking, really? Okay.
Yeah, and I guess she's a rapper or something. Like, I have no idea.
Who?
Ari, A-R-I. May not be.
Well, my husband tells me about music and stuff. He'll be coming, like, he'd come home from work and be like, oh, yeah, something. Cardi B. And I was like, who's that? And I had to Google, like, an old lady. Who's Cardi B? And it's like, well, he gets to ride in the car with no kids, you know? So he can be bumping. Because better believe when I'm in the car and I have no children, it's foul language and loud, whatever it is I'm listening to. And I'm
memories, nothing changed.
And I'm getting it because I don't get to do that with the kids in the car because I'm trying to be responsible.
Yeah, that's good, as you should, because kids are sponges.
Yes. Yes.
That's a whole nother topic we need to talk about.
Yeah, I can't have my kids out there.
People, and that's supposed to be cute. And then putting it on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah, like they proud.
Right? Like,
raise your children.
Expressing your, like, nah,
My daughter did that once.
Oh,
I mean, because we have language, we use language, and it's a huge, like, gotta retrain yourself how to speak when you have little people. And she was 3, and she was trying to get ready in the morning, and my husband and I were running around upstairs trying to get things together or whatever, and I was in my office, and he was going back and forth doing stuff, and she was trying to get dressed. I guess she had been asking for someone to help her find where her underwear were, like, she didn't know where they were or whatever. Just trying to we told her to get dressed for the day. She was 3 years old. And she stood in the middle of the hallway and she said, can somebody help me get my fucking underwear? I died. I closed the door and I had to roll on the floor laughing. I was like, oh my God. We have not been listening to this little baby ask for help with her underwear.
And I remember her being a little quiet baby at first, too, so that just makes it even hilarious. Oh my God.
I mean, funny, but not appropriate, right? Yeah. And thankfully, like, I that's when I bowed out and I said, I can't do it. And my husband, I know, was mad at me because he was like, you really gonna close the door so you don't have to deal with this? So he had to keep his face straight and say, we do not say that, this, like, you know, and correct her, help her get her underwear so she can get dressed. And then he came into the room with me and just died. Just died. But it was like, oh, and then, you know, she's never said it again, obviously. Good. She knows, but, you know, she used it in context.
So, that was perfect. Yeah. I can see that. That's like that's a movie scene right there.
Her little baby face. So, I mean, yeah, but I'm not going to post that on social, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a proud moment for me.
But I think, like, we were going back to what we were talking earlier. I think it's because of, like, raising kids and being a kid. We do have these barriers or whatever, like, and so it's hard to switch it off when you're an adult. So you're still holding some of that stuff. So that's like, well, I wasn't supposed to do this, and now, you know, now I'm free to do it. And it's like, there is no manual. Yeah, there's no manual to life. You know, it's like, okay. And so it's kind of interesting because I surely love to curse, but definitely not around kids or anything. I think you have to develop, you have to get to a state of emotional and mental awareness before you can start dropping F-bombs. Otherwise, you're not going to know how to express yourself properly.
And there's just a level of appropriateness. I mean, people always say what they say, whatever, about I shouldn't have to be, sell out, or I have to, but I mean, come on, be an adult. There are certain places where you have to behave a certain way, period. You can't just be walking around doing you everywhere you go.
Yeah, there would be disorder and chaos.
Yeah, or just have some decorum or respect for wherever it is you are. If you're in a workplace, you're not going to keep your job if you're acting a fool, just certain things. We do live in a world. You need to learn how to live in this world. Whether or not it's what you want it to be, this is the world, so you need to find a way to thrive in it. So, I mean, you can be
But I think you can thrive in the world and be yourself and be...
But behavior, appropriate behavior. Like, I mean, I think it's...
But I don't know.
Start talking about your hair, like, oh, you can't have this hairstyle, or you can't do this.
Like,
it's, especially with race,
I walked out of a talk, like a professional presence talk, because it was just all BS to me. And I'm like, that is why I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that, because it's stifling. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how the legal profession is. Yeah. I remember interviewing 3L year.
Well, the law firm profession.
Yeah, that type of thing. Like, this is how you have to wear a skirt. It's preferred you wear a skirt suit instead of pants. And I'm sitting there like, I don't wear skirts. Okay. So, wear these nylons. And I'm like, I don't wear pantyhose. So that, like, just a lot of things, like.
And hierarchical.
For someone to tell me how I should dress, I know, do your hair this way. Anything? Your hair has to be this way. Yes. Or just a lot of the stories you hear. Yes. A lot of the stories. Yes. You know what? I never went to an interview with curly hair.
Wow.
Why? Like, what is that? Why does my hair need to be straight? Ridiculous.
But I think that's where I decided, and it kind of goes back to the dating thing. If I tell you something and you're not having it, it's not for you. It's not meant for me. And the same thing with a job. I don't want to have to change myself so that I can be uncomfortable 24/7 at a job. Like, I'm not going. Why do I want to subject myself to that?
Right.
Like, I refuse.
But yes, I agree with that. Be true to yourself, but again, you need to act appropriately. You can't be walking around, fuck this, do this, like getting your Dave Chappelle on or whatever. Like, you can't do that
unless you're a comedian or a writer.
Yeah.
What is, like, we're putting our own construct of what the workplace is.
Time and place.
Yeah, exactly.
Time and place. Right.
Time, place, matter.
Oh my gosh. We are forever scarred. Like, you can't hear certain phrases without taking it there.
Right?
I think that's the safe way. I mean, that's part of how I was raised. I think that is the safe way. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. And especially, like, for me, like, growing up in the South, it's like, yeah, you got to follow the rules, because if you don't follow the rules, you might... I mean, look at Sandra Bland. She was popping off at the police officer, and look what happened. I'm not saying that she deserved, obviously. Right. But I'm just saying, I think
we should be able to speak about that without having to qualify what we're saying. Yeah. I think people jump off and are quick to be like, no, you didn't. Are you saying it's her fault? No, nobody's saying it's her fault. But again, time and place, especially knowing, I mean, that's why people have the talk with their kids. Mm-hmm. Know that if you get pulled over, you get questioned by whatever, this is how you behave. Mm-hmm. You may want to be bold right now, but you need to tailor, tuck that in somewhere. And this is how you behave. Not to say that that's going to save your life, but acting the way you want to act may take your life. Mm-hmm. So, so I don't feel like you have to qualify. I mean, at least with me, you don't have to qualify it. Yeah. I don't know what the listeners think or whatever, all 5 of them or whatever, but but I don't feel like we have to, I mean, amongst like between us, you don't have to qualify that. I mean, that makes absolute sense to me. Like,
so I feel like it goes along with everything we're always talking about. It's like, we have to kind of walk on the eggshells for other people, unfortunately, because people aren't going to be at the same level as you are. And so you have to live in a world, and it's like, unfortunate. Like, I would love to be able to pop off at people sometimes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But it's like, you can't. And if you're doing that, then you need to get help. You need to figure out why you're doing that. That's not normal. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. So,
well, there's a step of processing that I think a lot of people don't do. And I feel like the process of, you have a thought, you have a feeling, you have an emotion. What do I do with this? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people just immediately go to whatever makes it okay within them without thinking of the repercussions out in the world. And I think you need
I've
to
been
weigh
there.
both.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, when you're deep in your feelings or you're really hurt or really angered by something, like your first response is just to
Mhm.
get it out. I think we got to take a beat and we got to
Yeah.
see like what's going on and then do what you do. If you still want to yell, whatever,
Mhm.
but you got to at least think before you act.
Yeah, that pause. And it's like, that's
Yeah,
that
just take a
mindfulness
minute.
stuff. It's just like that pause, just being in the moment, not thinking about the past or future. Like, what is the reality of things? Because
Mhm.
there's a reality and then there's a filter that we all have. We have our filter and another person has their filter and then there's a reality. So it's like, what's actually happened here? And a lot of like, that has literally changed my life, just to be able to step back and say, what's actually happening here? I'm not going to project my stuff onto you. Like, I've done it with you. Like, oh, Emily hates me. She's mad at me. It's just like, and that's the way I was feeling about myself, And so it's,
I hate you. You said 2, 3, 4 times you want to punch me in my face. So
because that's like my abusive, well, not abusive, horrible, but like, that's like an expression of, want you to wake up and see the flower.
you want to shake a person. See the
Slap some
flowers,
sense
girl.
into you.
What?
Smell the roses, whatever it is.
I hate roses.
Do they really smell like boo-boo?
I hate roses.
Why do you hate them? I don't feel anything for them.
I don't think they're pretty and they stink to me. They do not smell good. So when people are like, oh,
Like,
rose scented this, I'm like, that doesn't smell good. Of all
I think
the flowers,
people like roses.
gardenias. You want something that smells good? Gardenias smell bomb.
I never smelled
Jasmine.
one. You
Oh
got
my
me under the
gosh.
lilies, the stargazer lilies. You got me under
Those are beautiful.
And they smell so
But
good. I gotta take my
roses
spray.
don't smell good.
Roses are cute, like the colors are cute, but they don't smell good. And I don't know if they smell. Like, I don't think they smell like doo doo, but they don't smell.
I think that's just a song, girl. You take it Outcast way out there. Roses, I like.
Because sometimes I mean, I don't know. Sometimes stuff does, but anyway, I think people like them because of they look like female anatomies partially. Like, that's what I think.
Who's female anatomy?
Look at
that's a whole nother conversation. We need to do another body episode. Yeah. Let's talk about all that.
But I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of things.
I think why are they cheap to make? Flower.
Are they cheap to make? Like, let's get down to the brass.
I don't know. I really do think that that's something along the lines of Valentine's Day that we are told is the flower. If he really loves you, he's not going to get you no carnations. He's going to get you some roses, long stem roses. I don't like that.
It's like marketing
myself.
A what?
Peonies. I love peonies. So
I don't think I like.
They're so full.
I don't know what they look like, but I don't think I would like them because I remember there was this Bath and Body Works peony lotion that I didn't like. So, but
it's not the smell. They look pretty.
Oh, okay.
My favorite smell is a gardenia, but my favorite flower.
I have to look it up. I don't know what a gardenia is, and the only thing I know is gardenia up in LA.
No, but I don't know if I had it when you came to visit me, but I had a big potted plant outside my apartment because I love the smell, and it was gardenias. They're white flowers.
Oh, those are beautiful.
So good. I don't know that they're pretty. I just like the smell.
Those are beautiful.
I mean, they're pretty. Yeah.
They look like that paper thing I used to make as a kid.
Like an origami thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Dahlias are beautiful.
I've definitely seen those. Oh, dahlia. That makes me think of LA, the black dahlia.
Yeah, those are pretty flowers. They're unique. Roses, I think, are tired.
Let me see roses.
They lack creativity. I feel like it's boring. Like if you haven't, I mean, I don't know. This is me having judgments, but
that's you. You're allowed to have judgment.
I mean, you can like roses if you want to, but I just think
you don't like them.
They're overrated.
If you get mad because I don't like roses and you do, what does that have to do?
You can like whatever you like.
Yeah, it's like, why do people get so bent out of shape because I don't like what you like? Why do we all have to like the same?
Because you're not validating my choice.
And but I take it further. You don't like black people? Fine. Don't take away my rights. Like, that's all I'm saying. Don't take my life. Don't take away my rights. Like, I'm not going to.
We talk about roses, girl.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing. Like, you don't have to like what I like because I'm
You
being
just have to
defensive.
respect that I'm allowed to like what I like.
Yeah, I was just being defensive because I could just see somebody be like, what about race and all this? I'm like, okay, you don't have to. I'm not saying you have to like, I'm just saying you have to not take away my rights in life.
Everybody loves you, Mo. You are lovable.
A young, lovable, huggable type of guy. And everything to the back is a little wet. Well,
oh my gosh! Crisscross will make
Jump,
you jump.
Man, kids are the worst. They would say that they were dead all the time. They would say that light skinned one was dead. Like, they're all still supposed to alive.
I was crushing on him. The McDonald's.
And then the ABC came back talking about
Aisha
was a girl that I never had.
Oh my gosh.
Memories.
Dang. See, that's what I'm talking about. Music, I feel like music's not like that anymore. Like, what are these kids, my daughter listens to, like, is it Sour Candy? Something, Lady Gaga and stuff. And I'm like, what is this song? She's in a hip hop class, so she has music that she's listened to that I'm like, what's that? Hip hop. I don't like hip hop.
I like a little bit of everything. Yeah, I like a little bit of everything.
I do too. I'm just saying that dude, I don't like hip hop and you look like Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Bitch.
Oh, okay. You think that's bad? Now look at us. We don't look nothing alike. We were mixed up once.
When?
The LBC, D to Louis, you gotta run to the party, dance to the rhythm, it gets hotter.
Oh! He didn't see you though, did he? Lord. We all look the same.
I think he just saw something brown going in, like something brown going in. Talk about vulnerability.
Nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, bye.
I know, but they're gonna be like, what are these bitches talking about? We're cute. We just woke up and we look like this. We're cute. Better than when I try to fix myself up, I look like the last time we tried to record. So I'm just gonna keep it real.
Keep it real. I know I am too. Look, my lips are crusty, yeah.
My kitchen all out.
I got my
I don't even know what that means. What is that? Black
I think
culture.
it was BB Moore Campbell or something.
Why do they call it kitchen?
That was the first time I came into encounter it, and that was from some book. I forgot.
We're talking about the hair on the nape of your neck, on the back of your neck that sticks out.
Yeah,
if anybody's curious.
And it was like an English class.
Keep the kitchen clean.
It was an English class with a white woman was the professor, and that she taught me about a kitchen. That's how I learned about kitchen. It was like a BB Moore Campbell thing, and I was like
I don't even know who that is.
So yeah, it's like it says she's an author or something. She's like the girl Maya Campbell, the actress. That's her mom, I think, or something like that. Anyway. It's the back of this little BDBs, as Martin would call them, BDBs. These little naps in the back of your head. Back of your
I have hair that comes out. It doesn't come out on this side. It only comes out on this side.
That's adorable.
And my husband has named them. I usually get 2 or 3.
Oh, that's cute.
I don't know why. He named my little bits right there.
That's love. See, that's a love language. That's cute.
What do you do when your love languages don't match up?
Feedback and communication. What is his love language?
Physical touch.
You don't like physical touch?
Every day.
Oh, I wouldn't mind giving that. It's like I don't want to receive. Like I don't have to receive it. Like, I could work with
I'm
that.
also significantly older than him, so his need for physical touch is where mine was 10 years ago. Let's say. You know what I mean? So
But you're about to peak. We're in peak age.
I don't believe in that.
Well, we'll see.
Because I also have 3 children and I'm tired.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't.
The energy levels, and the ability and the availability of privacy.
Yeah, that's true. No privacy.
Yeah.
See, that's funny that you say that because the more I've been thinking and I don't know, if I want kids. Like, I think I thought I wanted kids because that's just what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, am I going to be able to give somebody everything they need? I'm definitely not going to be able to do that by myself.
Like financially or time or
everything, emotionally, mentally, because you're building a whole person and I don't want to.
But you would, if and it's your choice whether you want to or not. But if you did have a child, you would find a way.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know that I'm able to give them all of that. Mm-hmm. And I am partnered, you know what I mean? And I don't know that we are able to do all that, but you do what's right. You do your best.
Because I think like thinking 10 years ago, like if I would have had kids 10 years ago, that would have been a messed up kid because I would have been feeling defensive or like taking like the things the kids are saying seriously. And it's like, this is a kid growing. It's my job to nurture and help this child grow.
Or it could have opened your eyes to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. You never know.
I just know my behavior.
You know you, right? But that's a huge life-changing event. So you never know how that could change
your body
your
changes,
or your view. Yes, girl.
Your hormones and everything, and you get some senses that you didn't even have. So, like...
Girl, who you telling?
Yeah, I'm just talking.
I say, who you telling?
I'm like, are y'all magical now? Like...
We see my children think I see everything. Oh, I said, because Mama sees. Mama knows what everybody's doing.
Yeah, you have that sense, so...
She believes that. The kids believe that. Really? Aww. And I'm like, yeah, I'm watching you all the time.
And it's like, it's hard to let that go because then like we do take that into adulthood, but it's like, you need that as a kid. You need it. And it's like,
and it's a security.
It's a
security that somebody is always watching out for you. Yeah.
And those are my love.
That's what I hope my kids have.
That's not a love language, but that's my thing. Safety and security. Like that's really important. Like if I don't feel safe and secure with you, if I feel like I'm going to have to be protecting you, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
No. But I think words of affirmation would be hard because I'm not very good at expressing my feelings. Even though I can say like how I feel, I wouldn't be like, hey, boo boo. Well, I mean, do it with my cat, so maybe I could. But it just, I don't know if it's...
You could with children. Are you talking about with children?
No, with dating, with the love languages. But
I've seen you around my kids. Yeah. You're very affectionate around my kids.
So maybe I would be. Because this is all like hypothetical. I don't know how I would be.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Because if I felt safe and secure, like I said, vulnerability, being able to be vulnerable, and just be like, maybe it'll just naturally roll off.
I feel like you'd be a great mom, but I also feel like that's a huge sacrifice.
Well, what's the sacrifice? Like, I'm not doing anything.
Your current lifestyle. Well, okay, let's talk. Yeah, I have 3 kids. I feel bogged down a lot. Like I'm not free to do anything. Whereas I feel like I look at, we could talk about what we see in each other's lives, but I feel like you have freedom to do whatever the hell you want to do. Yeah. And so that would change dramatically. And I think that might impact like travel. I mean, you said before, I just pack the kids up. That's a whole nother, I mean, you said.
But I have single mom friends who do it. So I'm like, I know it can be done.
Right. It can be done. It's not fun.
And have gifted kids, and kids. So
I mean, I've traveled with 2, 3. Well, I mean, depends on travel. Fly, drive, whatever.
Yeah.
We drive mostly now because we got 3 kids and a dog. Yeah. We can't leave the dog at home either, so we take the dog with us everywhere. And it's a lot. And there's 2 of us. It's just the amount of gear when we fly, car seats, and all that stuff. Plus keeping track of where the people are, and the kids, and the food, and the diapers, and got to breastfeed somewhere. I feel like there's a lot of self that's lost in that, because at a certain point it was like I stopped caring. I just whipped the tea out. It's time to eat. It's time to eat. I don't care who's looking at me. I used to be so self-conscious about my body, and now it's in the middle of a crowded airport, kids throwing fits, and a babe on the boob. Like that's judge me. I feel like,
but that's life. I feel like people put so much on that. It is life. And I feel like I was like that too, because I just didn't understand, and I would be like, oh, this is it, because it's like focusing on the self, all about me. Oh, these people. Oh, why are you going on a vacation? And it's like, why are you this kid kicking my seat? It's just like, okay, you get to travel too. You get to do these things too. Kids are developing. That's how they behave. Like, but people want to put it on, oh God, like, oh, you can't control
bad parents.
Kid. Yeah.
Come try and control my kids. Yeah. Seriously.
But that's what I'm saying.
Come try and control my kids.
I was so externally focused 10 years ago that I wouldn't have been a bad parent because I would have been trying to do it for the other people.
Yeah.
So, and like now I can put my own beliefs and like my own empathy. I don't think I would have a lot back then. And so like a lot of different things that would make me a better mom than I would have been back then.
But what I'm saying, in addition to that, or sort of to that, is a lot of that
learned on the job
without being formally going through the process, you do anyways. Like I stopped like when it comes to mothering and it comes to doing what's best for my kids. I don't care what anybody has to say.
Exactly.
Like that part, I don't care. If my child needs it, I don't, and it doesn't, it's to anybody. I don't care. Like if my child needs this right now, this is what's going to happen. Or,
that's how it
it used to be along with because breastfeeding was a huge part of my motherhood journey or whatever you want to call it or whatever. But just, they make covers now, and it's okay if you are more modest or more whatever about your body. I understand that. But like, I think you get a lot of crap if you just feed your kids. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to look at my breast if it's out. Right. But for me, after a while, kids fight with the covers. You have 900 different layers of clothes to make sure that your nipple isn't showing. Like, who hasn't seen a nipple? And if your kid is like 5 and they're looking at my nipple, like they haven't seen yours, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's all a front.
Trying to protect. I think it's the grown-ups and like thinking that grown people can't control their urges.
But then part of me is like, if you like what you see, I'm feeding my child, knock yourself out. Here you go. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why should that be on us?
Why am I going to make myself uncomfortable, make my child uncomfortable, especially in the heat? I went to Disney World. My daughter turned 4. This is in Orlando, humid, muggy, nasty. My son was 6 months, 7 months, 8 months or so. I don't know, still nursing. And it was hot. And we had covers. I had all this stuff. And I said, forget it. And I would just find a quiet spot. So I wasn't, offending too many people, but I wasn't trying to hide everything. Like, he needs to eat. It's hot. He's dehydrated. I'm not going to put him under a blanket so he could eat, so whatever. That's my little bit for moms. Breastfeeding's a big thing to me. And I just feel like, just do what you got to do for your kids. Who cares
That's
what
how
everybody
it
else is saying? Yeah. I don't care.
The kids come first. Like,
absolutely.
They're not developed. Like, you're developing them. That's a life, like, there's nothing wrong with that.
That right there is what makes me think you'd be a good mom. Like the way you think about it, because some people don't.
Yeah, they're not a thing. Like, it's not a thing. It's a part of a human being. Like,
it's something you've been blessed with, because a lot of people.
A lot of people can't. Yeah, a lot of people can't have kids and like struggle.
We need to have a talk about that, because I had struggles too. Like, it's not. I have 3 kids now. It didn't come easy. So I mean, so if you're fortunate or I don't even want to say
if that's what you want.
Blessed,
but if that's what you want, because some people, you also look at people who have kids and don't want kids, and then like they're like the worst parents.
I don't want to say that people who are having a hard time aren't fortunate or aren't.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
that's that empathy era.
Well, it is. I mean, I've been there. I've been in the doctor's offices, giving myself shots and having ultrasounds and taking all the medicine that makes you crazy just to have babies. So I understand the whole thing.
It is, and you're not alone. Like, it's so common. I think people don't talk about it because there's that shame.
They should talk about it.
Yeah.
I hate how much people gave Chrissy Teigen crap, John Legend's wife, Chrissy Teigen, the model, about her child loss. They lost their baby.
Why did they give her
third
crap?
Baby? Because she posted pictures of the process on Instagram. Not the process, but just I believe they held him. And it was, a lot of
I've
people,
seen that. Like the baby that passed away. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. She had a miscarriage.
Like they'll have it in a little blanket and stuff. The baby.
Yeah. And people were saying, well, why are you sharing this? This is a private moment for you. And yeah, it was a private emotional moment, but I think it's important for people to share their stories. Before I had kids, before I joined this community of moms, that I have, now these mom friends, I didn't know how often people miscarried, how often people lost children and how devastating that is. And to be a mom and have to suffer in silence and solitude because you think you're the only one because nobody talks about it,
Yeah. But that's what I found out. Like, it's very common. Like, I looked at the statistics because, people confided in me about that. And I was just like, what? And I was like, oh wait, that's common. Like, it is. It happens a lot. But it's like those things, these fake constructs that we have. Like, we aren't allowed to be vulnerable and say, oh, I'm struggling right now. why is that? Like, oh, you're going to be weak? Who cares? I am weak.
Because it looks like something's broken in you. I think that's part of it.
It's okay to be broken. Like, it's like, And I think that's what is so frustrating, is because we need modeling. I can't say that I got everything that I needed to be a proper adult. I don't think anyone does. It's like we're all learning on the job. And if I don't have modeling, then how am I going to know how to deal with it when it comes to me? So a lot of times when these celebrities go off and share, so I do feel like they're just being a jerk, or like, but in this case, I don't, because a lot of people don't know how to deal with that. Now they have a model, they have something they can look at.
A literal model.
Yeah. There's something they can say, okay, now I have something, a point of reference now to this. So
and it creates community. Yeah. Because in the comments, people share their stories, and you can see hundreds and hundreds of women saying, I sending love, this happened to me, and they share their story, and it really helps to see yourself in other people, to see, hey, like, I've gone through this, so have you, and you guys are okay. Like, we're okay. Mm-hmm. Or if I'm not okay, I know I have people to talk to, I don't know. When bad things happen, we don't need to be quiet about it. Like, we can share our experiences if you're comfortable.
But that's the thing. It's like, you're not supposed to share because it's going to make the other person uncomfortable. And it's like, if it's making you uncomfortable, then you need to maybe dig into that, because that's not my problem.
I feel like in the topic of motherhood and parenting, there's a lot of that, that I'm happy is changing, talking about it. I mean, there's so much surrounding, hormones and mental health and emotions in motherhood. There's so many changes that happen to your body, your chemicals, your hormone, everything changes. Your body changes. Postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. There have been so many stories about mothers taking their own lives, or taking their children's lives and their lives, harmful behaviors, things like that. And it's so easy to say, like, what kind of mom would leave her kids, or what kind of mom would kill her children? And of course, we look at that. It's a terrible thing. But if you don't have somebody to help you, like, literally your hormones are out of balance. You're chemically imbalanced in your brain. Like, you went through a whole life body changing thing. So to think that you can just send somebody home with their baby in 24 hours and not talk to them for 6 weeks is insane, especially if they don't have a support system.
What do doulas do? Because I thought if I ever got pregnant, I would get one. It sounds like that's like that support system, that intermediary. I'm not sure.
I didn't have a doula, but I do have friends who had doulas, and a lot of it is the comfort during labor, because it's a very intense thing. So it's somebody there. A lot of times husbands or partners don't know what to do. And so doulas will massage. They will help with meditative thinking during the process to get your mind off pain. I do think they help with the physical too. There's a lot of pain management techniques, emotional support. They support the partner through it too. Like, this is how you can help her. I don't know what they do after the fact. I don't know if they're also like lactation specialists that help you with breastfeeding or help with the aftercare. I'm not sure what they do. But I mean, as much support as you can get through that process, friends, whatever. It's sad now too, because COVID, you can't.
Yeah. So a lot of kids were born without their parents, like the other parents in the room, because they
is that how? I don't know how it goes. I don't know if like the other parents allowed. I know when I had my first, my husband was there and my mom was there.
Aww.
Because I was scared, and she was over my head praying the rosary. Little Catholic, but it brought me a lot of peace and comfort to know that she was there with me.
Yeah, and I think that's what a doula would do. Like, it would just be like a support system.
Extra, yeah. And someone also to advocate on your behalf, because that's a huge part. They make you do a birth plan, and usually your partner is there to make sure that things go according to your plan. If you want to have a water birth, if you want to have no pain medication, because there's gonna come a point where you're like, give me the drugs. If you said in your sane mind, I do not want these drugs, I'm adamant about it. He or she is there to remind you.
Oh, cool.
Or to speak on your behalf when you're tired, exhausted, and don't care anymore.
So did you have any of the, like, since you're biracial and you had one geriatric pregnancy?
Damn, why you gotta call it geriatric?
That's just the term.
I know. I had 2 geriatric pregnancies.
Oh, you had 2? Oh, look at you.
It's 35 and above, I believe. Yeah. Right?
Did you have any of the like Black complex? I know it's like Black women are like more likely to die during childbirth, and there are all kinds of complications with Black women. And I'm wondering, like we were going back to like, you have to understand what people are going through to be able to treat them sometimes. And it's like, what are they missing? Like, I haven't done research because we're just talking about this now. This wasn't planned, but it's just, I wonder why. Like, it can't be because it's not. I think it's just in the United States, like, and so that makes it.
Isn't that insane? Isn't that crazy that here in the United States, like?
But it's like, is it by design? Like, and I'm like,
I mean, I think it's more an access to care.
mm-hmm.
And there's also, I told you I was big on breastfeeding. But again, if you formula feed, that's fine. I had to formula feed one of my kids too.
Mm-hmm.
Not had to. I formula fed one of my kids too when I got pregnant and my milk supply dipped. So I have no judgments on that, but I am a big supporter of women who want to breastfeed. But I do know that I watched some videos. I forgot what it was called, but it was, my cousin told me about it. Ricky Lake was in it. It was something to show just like natural childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have a midwife or birth at home, you know, that kind of a thing. I had 3 deliveries in a hospital, but it was nice to watch. But in a lot of lower income communities, underserved communities, they are now, but they didn't talk about breastfeeding, which is free. You know, if you are physically able to do it, do it. You know, if it's something that works for you, do it. And a lot of underserved communities, they were pushing formula. As soon as the woman was like, and formula is expensive. That was.
But then the government pays for it. Like, is it like
I guess with WIC or something?
It's like a scheme. Let's push it in, and then we're going to pay for it and buy it.
I don't know, but I know that was one of the factors. I mean, we were just starting out when we had our oldest, and it was free. And if my body was able to produce it, you know, and I was home with her, why not? You know,
and you can even pump if you weren't. So
pumping is a whole nother. I have so much respect for moms who pump because that's a whole another dedicated thing. I didn't have any specific to Black woman issues with pregnancy. I'm not really sure what those are. We did see genetic counselor with our first. So I think that's something that you do. I don't know.
Ooh,
we did.
What is that? I don't even know what a genetic counselor
it wasn't anything extra or fancy, but just to see. Sometimes you do blood tests, you do ultrasounds, and you may have, you know, markers for something. I mean, since I was 32, Down syndrome or something. And so you have to do extra blood tests. And we were actually told, and this is kind of the benefit, I guess, because we are an interracial couple, that a lot of our genes, in order to have a lot of these disorders, your genes have to match up. And none of, I mean, you know, there's things that Filipinos get, there's things that Blacks get, there's things that whites get. Like cystic fibrosis is mostly amongst white people. So my husband had to get tested for that. And he was negative, but there were some issues in an ultrasound that made us wonder if something was wrong. So, a lot of our genes didn't match up. So, which is good. They cancel each other out, and all the negative stuff cancel each other out. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what it said. I looked it up and it's like the disparities. So it's like the quality of care.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. They're not monitored. Okay. So this is a systemic issue.
Prenatal care probably isn't where it's supposed to be. I bet they're not having testing done for gestational diabetes in a timely manner. They're probably having a lot of preeclampsia, swelling,
so
and
they said because of the
high blood pressure.
Yeah, because they
pre-existing it. Yeah, and that's deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Preeclampsia.
Beyonce had toxemia, also known as preeclampsia. Wow. Yeah. What is it?
Preeclampsia is high blood pressure. You can tell you swell up. I mean, you swell up anyways when you're pregnant, but you swell up. Blood pressure issues.
This is someone who is dancing like 500 hours.
And you gotta deliver. I believe that's one of the things. You get hospitalized, and a lot of times they deliver you. Like, you have to get the baby out.
And Kenya Moore had that, and
if you think about it, it's another being leeching. I mean, if you want to say, obviously I don't think this way.
It's a parasite.
Obviously, right. It's parasite, you know, I don't mean it in a negative term, but it is. It's a being living off of you. So everything you eat, everything you drink, your blood, your oxygen, your everything that you need for yourself. Like for me, I'm anemic anyways. So add another baby, blood count was low. I had a lot of issues with iron deficiency and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would have to watch out for that too.
And then I'm also just, I don't want to say lazy about water, but I'm not as hydrated as I should be on the regular. And that was an issue for my last 2 pregnancies. My second pregnancy, I had to stay in bed and drink a lot of water. That's basically what it was towards the end. And then my third, there wasn't enough amniotic fluid. So I had to go straight to the hospital, and they induced me to get him out.
Wow.
So.
It's just so magical. It just seems so like creating a life. It's just like, wow. That's a whole human being. It's like a chance for a new hope. But just your oxygen, your cells is, like your
it's part of you,
cells.
But it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can see him or her moving in there, which is really their weird. You feel them. Yeah.
But it's their own being. That's why I believe we're all one. Because it's like, they're themselves, they're you, they're your ancestors, it's like just a combination of everything. We're all the universe in one, it's just beautiful. But I could live without it. Like I used to feel like, oh God,
I'm good.
But I can go either way. Like I would definitely, like I am a carefree person and things like that, but I know myself, and with a kid or something like that, I'd totally be like, rules, like appointments,
shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like I have to be like,
you gotta be.
Yeah, it's a different thing. So, not that I even have the option, but it's just like, is it something that I'm willing to do? And I feel like it all depends on so many different things, it's circumstances. Because I used to say I wanted to adopt a child at a certain point because I was adopted, and it's like that's still that would be a lot for me to do.
Yeah.
It's like, so, these are things to think about because there are kids in need, especially Black kids in the United States, and just making sure that I'm able to take care of someone and like help somebody like I was helped, so.
Yeah. Oh.
We
still need to talk about that. We need to have an episode about that.
Yeah, let's do it, girl.
I would love to adopt a child too. I mean, I have 3 already, but
But a lot of people do that. A lot of people.
If I could, I mean, I don't know. The adoption process is really something. It's expensive. There's so many steps to it, and interview, which they should have, but it's interesting. I mean, to make sure you're not going to do harm to this child or whatever, but they don't do that for someone who gets, there's no interviews, there's no steps, training, make sure you're prepared.
When you actually, isn't that crazy? It's like you're actually...
Not that they can take your kid away, but I mean, they should check. Are you prepared? If not, here's some resources. Like, I feel like that's something, I don't know if that has to be the government doing that, but like churches or organizations.
Oh, girl, we could start a business.
Something. I mean,
prepare people.
I mean, are you ready? Are you ready to have a child?
It's the same like with
Are you
marriage.
mature enough to have a child? Yeah. Well, that's one thing. I mean, my husband and I are Catholic. We had to go through, it's called the engagement encounter, and it's a retreat where you sleep aside, and it looked like a jail cell. I think I posted pictures on my Instagram of where I slept. It was kind of creepy.
I gotta go look.
But it was separate, and then you come together every day. You don't get to sleep, obviously, sleep in the same place or whatever. We're Catholic. So, but you have exercises that you do as a group. And then you do things individually, you break off and you discuss certain topics like I mean, this is basically like finances. Let's talk. Like what's your deal with the finances? What's your deal with the kids? How would you do this? And it's basically a lot of issues that would come up in your marriage. Let's talk about it now. So we know if we're on the same page.
Wow. Even. So you were already like, I feel like, see, for me, maybe that's why I'm single, because I feel like that's the kind of stuff you're already should be talking about by the time you get to the point where you're getting married.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, you have conversations about it. Like, for example,
because how would you know to say yes? Like
everybody knows I'm liberal and I'm whatever, but my husband wasn't very vocal about his politics while we dated. So it seemed like it wasn't important to him, which made it work, and so at the point of proposal, there wasn't much conflict as far as politics concerned, and it wasn't the political climate it is today.
Yeah, so I was say you knew he was conservative.
Well, I knew he came from a conservative family, but he never spoke of politics. It just wasn't something anytime I said anything, it wasn't, I don't know how to explain it. It just wasn't like he was apolitical, like he didn't care.
Ah, I see. See, that's something
and
that's
what brings conflict today is he's very political or opinionated about his politics. Whereas, in the dating process, I think there's only so much you can know about while you're dating someone. I mean, you're
That's it.
going to grow as people. When you get
And
married,
you change
you're
too.
going to
You can change.
Yes.
So even if you have all of this, you still can change. Like, we're human.
And that's why the commitment to the institution of marriage is important, not just to each other, but to the idea that we're going to be married, provided it still works,
Yeah.
obviously. But I mean, you're going to be different people, I mean, I
And
watched
that's
my
okay.
parents over the years change into different people. Like, people change.
Mm-hmm.
But the commitment doesn't, if it works for you. I mean, I'm not trying to be judgy either way, whatever. Obviously people do things that are inexcusable, or things just don't work out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
I feel like that comes from that hidden stuff. And it's like, why, that fear of being vulnerable. If they kind of like, almost like, let me trick you, like, okay, I'm not going to just like smooth sail into this. And then I can, I got that commitment. Now I can be myself. And the reason why I'm single is because I say, be myself. And you got to like it.
As you should be.
And if you don't like it, then you know what? I'm okay with that, because I can't be stifled, And there's a compromise, of course, and I'm willing to compromise, but I'm not going to I'm not going to go.
I think this is the thing. I think it's because you're not willing to play the game, good or bad, right? Because I think we've talked about this before. When you first shaved your head, there's a game you play. Dating is a game. Relationships are a game. And I remember when you're like, I'm just going to shave my head, and I was like, oh, it's part of the game. Is the idea of, long flowy locks, or pressed, like.
But I feel like that's your belief. But like, I actually got more dates with my head shaved.
Yeah.
Like,
so, what do I know? What do I know, right? But for me, the game has been, look a certain way, act a certain way, and I can say I played the game. I played right on into it. and then get mad when people are like, not appreciating me for who I am, because I tricked them with the game, with the package, or the,
well, you knew what you wanted,
girl, or I'm a this, and I'm not, I think that's what made me feel, comfort in this relationship with my husband is I went to law school not looking for anything, and literally was just, some people just rolling up in the PJs, going to law school, sitting in the library till 11, just nasty.
And still got married.
And it was me. And somebody accepted me for me.
Exactly. Oh, see?
That's what I'm saying. So don't play the game. You're doing it right. I don't know. Like, I know. What do I know?
Yeah. So that's what I'm like. I can't play the game. I won't play the game. Even if that's just humanity, then it's just not me. I probably not from here. So.
Gotta beam you back up.
Beam me on.
Well, it was good talking to you this early morning.
Thanks, boo. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too.